Welcome back into the Cardinals Squad Show, and it's Benjamin Garcia, host of the Ben Garcia Show, host of Locked on Phoenix Suns. Yoda Froeholdt extended, Trey Benson cut. How does that impact the Arizona Cardinals and the running back room as well? We'll talk about that next.
What's up, guys? Jamil Douglas, host of the Jamil Garcia Show and the eye candy of this show. Josh Sweat returns. We'll talk about that as well.
Alex Clancy, former circus performer and now blind because Jamil is the eye candy of this show. What the hell are we doing here, guys? Join practice tomorrow. What are we looking for with this team? I know what I am looking for is not having to wait for Ben to hit the damn button.
Rise up, Red Sea. It's the Cardinals Squad. Everything Arizona Cardinals every week. Covering all the big hits and game-changing plays from the Valley of the Sun. The way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. Gear up and squad up. The Cardinals Squad Show starts now.
What is up? Welcome back into the Cardinals Squad Show. We got a lot of things to dive into. Josh Sweat finally returns. We got some joint practice previews. Jamil's going to carry us through that. Some extension talk now that Yoda Froeholdt is extended. What's next for Michael Wilson, Paris Johnson Jr.? And I promise I'm going to listen to the entirety of the show. We're going to start off with Yoda Froeholdt getting extended 2 years, $20 million. We'll get to the Trey Benson stuff here in just a second. But first, Yoda Froeholdt extended. Jamil, you're the offensive lineman. How'd you feel about that? Underpaid, right? Underpaid.
Yeah, underpaid. Underappreciated, but they definitely value, what he brings to the offensive line. Look, I'm a big proponent of, when guys play well, and especially when you have a center that can do it consistently week in and week out. He doesn't have to be the best center in the league, but he's definitely underrated. And so I think you're looking at it at the Cardinals, and this extension kind of speaks for itself. It's saying that we value you here. It's a 2-year deal, so he's got an opportunity to get more afterwards, which that's why I'm not really worried about, is he underpaid on this? Like, he's going to have an opportunity to get more after this. But all in all, I'm happy about it. Like I said, I think when you have linemen that can do it week in and week out, you have to reward them and you have to keep them. It is very hard to come across a center that you can rely on. He's been relatively healthy, throughout his tenure with the Cardinals, and he's dependable. So it makes sense. And I'm glad that it got done without it going to, the ringer and us trying to figure out why or what. I'm very happy about it.
Yeah. I mean, he's been the unsung hero of the offensive line since he's come over. He's been consistent. He's played most of the games. This is the Monty special, slowly kind of chipping away, guys buying in. They love being here. That was one of the best, offseason signings that was made over the last 5 years. So it's good. And again, it's ho-hum. Like, this is what's going to happen. You're not going to hear rumblings about Michael Wilson getting an extension until you see it in the news. You're not going to see it about Paris until you see it in the news. This is the Cardinals thing. So, whatever you want to say about Monty, he's slowly chipping away. And yeah, it's not sexy, but I don't think people understand how important Yoda Froeholdt has been since coming over.
Oh man, it feels sexy to me for a guy that's been watching a offensive line for the Cardinals that have maybe over the last 10 years had 3, I think is putting it nicely, that is serviceable. When I saw the contract, I'm sure Jamil's correct that he's going to get another chance to get even more at some point, but he is, I'm not sure if this is with his current contract, but prior to this, regardless, it doesn't really matter. He's the 12th highest paid center in the NFL. And what I'm looking at right now is not his current contract on this deal. So before this, he was 12. But I mean, if I'm not mistaken, it was Pro Football Focus that ranked him the 10th best center in the NFL. And he has been, like Clancy just said, a cornerstone for this Arizona Cardinals team. So, I mean, this is one of those things where you got to put it together with Monty and say, hey, a little slap on the back for him, because now it's the Trey McBride extension that, yeah, did he get a lot of money? Sure, but he got, relative to other weapons around the NFL, feel pretty good about that contract. And now the Yoda Froeholdt one. And now we'll talk about these guys later in the show, Michael Wilson and Paris Johnson Jr. But you're starting to gain a little bit of confidence. Like, maybe this is Monty's secret sauce. Maybe this is Monty, who really good at the cap situation, structure these things. And for a team that has a poor owner, those are the types of things that you want to see. Anything else on Yoda Froeholdt, gentlemen, before we move to Trey Benson?
No, I mean, like I said, I think being within my experience in the league, centers are typically humble guys that just want to be, they want to be compensated for what they do, and they do it well. He's a cornerstone for this offensive line, and it's going to be big for the Cardinals to have him, for the future, however long. I'm sure he's a guy that will want to stay in Arizona. Like, he doesn't strike me as a guy that is going to leave. Like, they can take care of him here.
How do you think his relationship with the next Cardinals quarterback matters for whoever it is? Like, let's just say it's Dante Moore. How do you think that he will play a role in helping take that quarterback to the next level, like reach their potential? Like, can you talk about the relationship between quarterbacks and centers?
Yeah, I mean, it's, a center is a quarterback's best friend, essentially, in terms of when you have a veteran center, it takes a lot of pressure off of the quarterback. Like, there are things that your quarterback does not see when he gets up to the line of scrimmage as a young guy, that you can remind him at the line of scrimmage, hey, this is shell coverage. We got to can this and go to the next play, or something like that. So it's, listen, we got kids, Clancy, well, we don't know, but it's that comfy blankie, it's that little blankie that they carry around. It's like, that's what a veteran center can do for a young quarterback. He can take out the gray area because he's essentially an extension of him at the line of scrimmage, and they trust those guys. So it's just as important to have, and I may be biased, it's just as important to have a respected and trustworthy center as it is to have a quarterback, because of the role that they play in setting the table for the entire offense. When you have a center that is clean with operation, it allows everything to move freely. So I'm sure Mike LaFleur was on board with this. I'm sure he's happy about it. And I'm sure he was one of the people that, really probably wanted to get this done, because he knows how important it is to have offensive linemen that can do what he does.
Trey Benson was placed on waiver / injury reserve for the Arizona Cardinals, meaning he went through the waiver wire order. No one put in a claim for him, so he is now technically back with the Arizona Cardinals on their IR. He will become a free agent once he finalizes an injury settlement within the organization. We'll get to the running back room, what this means, but are we surprised that they just kind of gave up on Trey Benson? I mean, Jamil, this is something we talked about on the show. Like, he's a 3rd round pick. Usually those guys get a little bit more leeway, but he just can't stay healthy.
Yeah, I mean, hey, the old saying goes, the best ability is availability, and he has not been available. And 3rd round pick or not, at some point when the turnover happens in terms of coaching, you don't get that leash anymore. You don't get the, we care about this guy because we believed in him as a coaching staff. And so you get pushed further down the depth chart. I've been a part of a situation like that where, a new coach comes in and you think that your status as a draft pick matters. It just gets thrown out. And so you get evaluated from a clean slate with everyone else. I think this is more about Bam Knight than it is Trey Benson. I said, I felt like in that Hall of Fame game, even though it was a preseason game, I think Bam Knight caught the eye of Mike LaFleur. I think he caught the eye of the rest of the organization in terms of he can really do something special within this offense. He's not going to be your bell cow. He's not going to get 10 touches a game unless somebody goes down. Then I could see him, having a huge role. But just the sample size that we saw him being able to run the wide zone. We saw a glimpse of what the explosiveness looks like. And I think it's more about Bam Knight than it is Trey Benson. It's Bam Knight kind of, taking the spot from Trey Benson. And that's sometimes the nature of the game.
Yeah. I mean, he's not what Michael Carter was. Like, he wasn't an afterthought. Week 14, week 15, he'd come in, he'd be fun, and then he'd make the practice squad next year, and then everybody be brought up when running backs would get hurt. Like, the dude's 25 and he's got some scoot. And Mike LaFleur, when asked about the running backs, he goes, I had Bam in New York. Like, he's a LaFleur guy. He's run this before. I know it's a little bit different now because Mike LaFleur's matured. There's going to be much better quarterback play, even though people malign Jacoby Brissett. It's much better than Zach Wilson, the slop they had back then. You know, Mike White, I think it wasn't great. It just begs the question, what's the running back room look like now? I talked about James Conner today. We talked about it for a second because it's a weird thing to broach. It's like James Conner was going to be an Arizona Cardinal, was going to be an Arizona Cardinal until he retires. You just expect that to be the case. And now they brought in 39 running backs in one offseason. It's like, well, things kind of changed now. He's 6 years older than the oldest running back that the Cardinals have outside of him. So would you rather, like, the difference here is, and I was looking at the numbers today, he didn't have any guaranteed money going into 2026 as it was currently set. With the restructure, they gave him $2.1 million guaranteed. So that means, hey, James, love you, thank you, bye-bye. I think it's a Michael Bidwell small way of saying thank you. And if he's not on the roster, if he's traded, whatever it is, I wouldn't be surprised at this point, even though I want him to be a Cardinal for the next 6 years. I want him to retire one. But sometimes there's just not room with the skill set that he currently has.
Do we think that Bam Knight, okay, I guess I'd have to know if you guys think who the better running back is right now. So I would assume you guys would probably still say that I know that Jameel said he'd rather Bam Knight, but do you guys think that Bam Knight is a better running back right now than James Conner? That'll help me set up my next question.
It's impossible we haven't seen James Conner in a year.
I think that Bam Knight fits this scheme better than James Conner does.
Do we think that, okay, that's interesting. And yes, that's a good point to make, Clancy, when he was still Zonovan Knight with the New York Jets. Like, he's still Zonovan Knight, but he goes by Bam Knight now. He was with Mike LaFleur then. Do we think it is worth it? Because the thing that the argument that I'll make is, to play devil's advocate, James Conner brings legitimate leadership to this team. And he is kind of like the focal point of this team, like the dad, if you will, on the offensive side of the ball, where kind of Budda Baker is that on the defensive side of the ball. Do we think whatever Bam Knight brings to this team this year will supersede and be worth it to potentially cut James Conner for what James brings leadership-wise? Jameel, it feels like you're the guy.
Let me go first here.
Okay.
I want to tell Jameel I want Jameel to tell me where I'm wrong. Leadership is awesome. You got to win games. Leadership's great. It's great. Jacoby Brissett can be that now. Like, and listen, I love James Conner. I love him. He was great. It was the best Steve Keim signing that he ever made. And the DeAndre Hopkins trade was Michael Bidwell to McNair. Like, Steve Keim got credit, but that had nothing to do with him. Like, that was the best move that Steve Keim made. Okay. And it's time. If Bam Knight's on the roster, you can't carry 4. You can't. And you can get leadership anywhere. Have him come back and be a running back coach. Who cares? Like, you want him to be part of the family. And it pains me to say, but I maybe stole what Jameel said. I wanted to see if I was right. It's like, you got to win football games. The whole touchy-feely, the all huggy, lovey-dovey stuff is great. You got to win.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I mean, this is not a situation where you can carry 7 defensive linemen because, you know, one and the 7th one is a leader. This is a running back room, and to have 4 is a crowd. To have 2 that can essentially do the same thing, I think Tyler Algier can do everything that James Conner can do at a higher clip, and be more explosive. That's not a knock on James Conner. It's just at some point, those type of things, they just don't work out. And so while yes, he's a leader, this ain't a room where you can carry 4 of them, because then you're shorting somewhere else. You're shorting the receiver room, you're shorting the edge rush room, like, and we already know there's a shortage in that room. So I just, unfortunately, this is where you get the old war horse that you just gotta, go put him down, put him not put him down, but put him in a stable and say thank you, and somebody else comes and gets him. Like that. That's what we're looking at here. They don't have a leadership problem on this team. I don't think so. Like, I don't think that they.
Why do you think that?
Because Mike LaFleur, his culture, like the culture shift already happened. Like in terms of, guys being accountable. Because if it wasn't in the offseason, we wouldn't have heard that, Marv and Michael Wilson and all these guys are there training. Like they're pros. They're able to do it on their own. Like, I don't think that they need James Conner to police, the offense. It just doesn't make sense to me. So I don't know. I think that we're looking at a situation where he could possibly get traded. But I think that, 4 running backs is a crowded room, and unless something changes, I don't see a scenario where you carry 4.
Ben, you want to know the simple answer to your question? Why? How do you know that they've got leadership now? Because they're still here. All of them are still here. Budda Baker could have asked out long ago. That's leadership. Like, all of these guys could have asked out. All of them. Like, that shows that they want to be here, that they're the inherent leaders, and they're going to be the pillars of leadership. And Jacoby Brissett he's already Uncle Jacoby to everybody. Like, everybody loves him. And like what James Conner brings,
do seem like they love him.
And it doesn't matter. Like, again, this is not a knock on James Conner. It's
not.
It's a shift in, hey, you want everybody to be kumbaya, or you want to win football games? And I'm not saying James Conner would be the impetus for one or the other from happening. Bam Knight gives them a better chance to win on the field right now. That's just the truth.
100%.
The thing with James Conner that I think is like the most damning thing against him, which again, this is kind of does feel like a Cardinals problem. Like, why did you re-sign the guy? Is he's very redundant to what they already have in Tyler Algier. Like, he's super redundant to him. And if you are looking for like the Chase Edmonds, and I'm not saying that Zonovan Knight, Bam Knight is Chase Edmonds, but like, you kind of want a second pitch in the backfield. And Bam Knight does kind of differentiate himself than something that James Conner does. But still, I do think there is an argument to be made that this is the Arizona Cardinals and they should take as much leadership as they can. But anyways, let's move on. Josh Sweat finally returned. He hadn't been here for a few weeks. Well, I guess he was here, but he was on physically unable to perform list. He is finally back. How does that now change the trajectory of the Cardinals defense? We'll talk about that next. Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Odoo. Running a business shouldn't feel like you're trying to connect a bunch of systems that were never designed to work together. One app for accounting, another for inventory, another for sales, and somehow none of them talk to each other. It's where Odoo comes in. Odoo is an all-in-one business management software that brings every part of your business together in one powerful platform. From sales and accounting to inventory and marketing, everything works in one place. Odoo is one platform to manage, grow, and scale your business. The best organizations know that success isn't just about talent. It's about having everyone working together to reach the same common goal. And that's true in sports just like it is in business. One thing that really stands out is how the Arizona Cardinals got everyone pulling in the same direction by moving on from Jonathan Gannon, bringing in Mike LaFleur. Sure, it wasn't just one coach or player. It was a coordinated effort across the entire organization that made it successful. Those type of decisions help contribute to that. Great organizations win because operations matter. That's why you should get Odoo. Try for free today. Odoo.com/locked on. That's ODOO.com/locked on. So Josh Sweat made his glorious return to practice from the physically unable to perform list. Now, kind of something that one of those things that Mike LaFleur has left us in the dark of when it has come to the Josh Sweat stuff. However, let's dive right into the Cardinals defense as a whole. How does getting Josh Sweat back into the Cardinals defense change how you think about the Arizona Cardinals defense this season, Clancy?
It doesn't.
Really?
That's why we're doing this in the second segment. It's going to help. The only thing, the problem is it's going to help. Okay. Him and Walter Nolan, maybe they can put something together, can cook together a little bit to make, the other edge rusher alongside Josh Sweat's job a little bit easier, make Matt Wilson's job easier, make the DB's job easier. My big thing is, and I can't help but think it's okay, so why did he sit out the whole time? Probably because he was unhappy and the Cardinals just let him because that's what the Cardinals do. So, but then what if he has 7 sacks going into week 9 or week 8, and then you're a week away from the trade deadline and they're 2-6? It's like, okay, so he's just promoting himself for other teams. Like that's all I'm thinking. It's like, what situation do the Cardinals need to be in to warrant keeping him beyond the trade deadline? 3 and 4?
Jamil, your mic is muted.
You know I love when
really
you're muted. It's the best.
Oh, that's
You
it got
sound the
me.
best.
Hey,
Sound
once a year.
Yeah.
The situation that they're in now with 0 pass rushers.
Yeah.
Well, is it? And I don't mean to jump away from the Josh Sweat thing, but is it fair to assume that Walter Nolan is at least going to be a guy on the defensive line?
At least he'll be a Pro Bowler this year. Yeah.
Okay. So let's say that. Let's say he's going to be a Pro Bowler. Like let's dive into that. If you have Josh Sweat alongside him, here's the thing. I think if you don't have Josh Sweat, there's a chance that this defense becomes unwatchable. I still think even with Josh Sweat, they are, bottom third in the NFL. He's not changing anything to where, the Cardinals are now winning 7 games. I don't want to treat him like he's Aaron Donald, but he is so much better. Like he is Josh Sweat is closer to Aaron Donald than BJ Ojolari is to Josh Sweat. Like that's kind of the comparison that I'll make for this defense, where I don't know if you can trade him at the deadline, Clancy, even if you make the argument the Cardinals are 1-8, because I think people are confusing what a bad defense looks like with just unwatchable. And I think unwatchable defense is then contagious to the rest of the team, where you just can't even compete week in and week out. And I think he takes them out of being unwatchable, especially if you're talking about, can the Arizona Cardinals bring a body in? I'm not going to talk about Hassan Reddick like he's going to come in and get 12 sacks. But again, something better than what you have in Darius Robinson and DJ Ojolari.
We're getting off path here. Like he makes, like, being unwatchable and being bad is like getting a D- or an F. It doesn't matter. Bad and unwatchable are the same thing to me. Like the Cardinals have been bad and they've been unwatchable in the preseason. When it comes
can it be elevated from an F to a D, which I do think is different?
No. That's still just a loser mentality for how it is. Like if it's that close, you're just going to trade him. It's like, what does it matter if he's that bad?
Well,
no, listen.
If you have a clear one-sided,
hey mom, I didn't get an F. I got a D.
Guys, yeah, I got a D. It doesn't make any sense. Listen. No.
You guys are painting it like I think they're going to win.
I'm just regurgitating what you're saying. Put it this way: from last year to this year, would you rather have Calais Campbell and Dalvin Tomlinson or a healthy Walter Nolan?
Say it one more time.
Oh, you weren't listening. Would you rather have a healthy?
You literally cut out for me. I can't make together.
Would you rather have Calais Campbell and Dalvin Tomlinson or a healthy Walter Nolan? What would you rather have? This shouldn't be very difficult. You'd rather have a healthy Walter Nolan. So you have Walter Nolan for 17 weeks. Okay. So inherently, this defense is already better than it was last year. In theory, the roster is already better.
In theory.
So first 5 games last year, they gave up 19 points per game. Then they gave one defensive touchdown to the Cowboys in week 9, who were the second best offense in football at that point. So when they're healthy, they can play. So I don't think that we're just kicking away everything. And maybe Jamil's watched, bad defenses and stuff like in real time. But like when Josh Sweat's back, I don't think he's going to elevate this team. And that's why I said it's going to be the same. Like I think this defense is going to be a lot better than people think.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I said I think the Cardinals are going to win 6 games this year. The defense has to be good. It has to be much better than giving them a 30 burger every game.
Okay.
Jamil?
Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
Look, Josh Sweat. Let me be careful with how I say this. Do I think it's going to elevate the defense? I do think, yes, it's going to elevate the defense. The Walter Nolan being a Pro Bowler, if Josh Sweat is there, the chances of that happening go up.
I'd agree with that.
If Josh Sweat is not there, those chances go down drastically, because I have not seen Walter Nolan play a full season yet. And I want to know what that looks like. Obviously, I know he's in the bright beginning of his career. And so I don't want to say that he's not going to help elevate this defense, because I know what it looks like to have a mid to top tier pass rusher on your defense. It changes everything. We've seen, and I know it's preseason, we've seen guys being behind in coverage. When you have a pass rusher, those things just drastically kind of disappear. Guys are able to cover better because they're covering for less time. So I don't want to say that he doesn't elevate them, because he is going to elevate them.
Yeah.
I think my big concern is it's still not enough for this defense. Like that's where I'm at. I do think they need another edge rusher, and I don't want to chase ghosts and say Hassan Reddick. Would I like to see it? Yes, I would love to see Hassan Reddick on the other side of Josh Sweat with Walter Nolan in the middle. I would love to see that. But I don't know that he brings enough to say I feel good about the defense. I still, if anything's shaky for me, I still am shaky on the defensive side of the ball with Josh Sweat being back.
Yeah, I think, again, the other thing is just like, I do think there's a world now where the Arizona Cardinals could win 5. I still think 6 is a little high. I think I'm more on the 5 range. But the way that they are going to do that is they have to have a pretty good offense. Jacoby Brissett being able to distribute the ball enough, which we think he's able to do.
He is.
But if you have, my point is, and this is what I was kind of saying before, my point is, if you have an F defense, I think you are asking a lot of Jacoby Brissett to go band for band with really anyone in the league. If you have a D defense, I do think that does make games against some teams much more winnable than they were. Not here acting like the defense, I'm not here acting like the defense is great. I think it's going to be a bottom 3rd defense in the NFL. But I think it does elevate it just a little bit. That's the point that's on.
Ben, were you a good student in class?
That was average.
So I'm sure.
Were you like a D guy?
I'm sure.
No,
listen,
I was average. No,
I'm sure.
No, dude.
I'm sure there was a test sometimes.
I had parents that
yeah, I was average.
They weren't okay with D's and F's. Yeah,
okay.
I get it. I'm the
same.
same.
Hey. Well, I still got to tell my story. I'm sure there was a time where you got an F on a test and it was handed back to you, and you thought in your mind, "Oh, I could change this F to a D." You probably thought it, but still, underneath that F, underneath that D is an F. And so you can slap lipstick on an F. It don't matter if it's an F or a D, they're still going to be struggling. I think this offense is going to give people fits. I truly do, but only for so long. Like it comes a time where, last year we're sitting here talking about, geez, I hope the offense catches up to what the defense is doing and outputting on Sunday.
Yeah.
If we're doing that this upcoming year, geez, I hope the defense catches up to what the offense is doing. It usually doesn't work like that. Like, you usually go in and it's cohesive and it's complementary football. Usually when one side is outperforming the other, the bow breaks at some point in time. And so if it's a D or an F, if it's not a B or an A, they're still going to be.
Well, it's not going to be that.
Exactly. So that's my point. Exactly. If it's below that, I still think that they're going to have issues, performing to the level that what I think the offense can be.
Well, yeah, right. And that's fine, because you're right. Like, so say the offense isn't performing, then the defense gets tired. We saw that last year. Like, it's that seesaw battle. But if Josh Sweat is on the field, this defense doesn't start as a D. It starts at a C. Like, I don't think they gave up 19 points per game last year during the first 5 weeks when everybody was healthy. Then when they were completely healthy in week 9, they had 1 touchdown to a team that was giving up 30 points. They were scoring 30 points a game. We've seen the proof of concept. It's been a while. It's difficult to remember that far because everything fell off the rails when Mac Wilson went on IR and they couldn't run the ball. Like, not being able to run the ball is a huge detriment to the defense. Well, it's on different sides of the ball. Why would it be? It is a huge detriment to the defense. The Cardinals are going to, it all stems back to the offense. Yeah, the defense hasn't been great. This isn't a Nick Rallis should be here or shouldn't be here statement.
Yeah.
52% on 4th and 1s over the last 3 years. That's so many wasted possessions, wasted scoring opportunities, wasted drives that more times than not put the defense in bad situations. Like if you can convert 70%, 75% like normal teams do, like the Rams have with Michael LaFleur's OC with this run scheme, everything flips. Everything flips. It's very difficult to look at this team in a positive light after what we saw after the bye, after the Dallas game last year. I understand that. And this offseason that was boring. And drafting Jeremiah Love instead of Arvell Reese, who's going ham sandwich in New York, and he looks like the greatest pass rusher to come out since, however long. Like, this is the incomplete that they chose. They chose the offense. But this doesn't mean the defense is going to be terrible. And I think with Josh Sweat next year, if he plays all the games, if they get 80% of their missed games back from last year, this year on the defense, they're going to be better than people think.
Yeah.
They've got so much blue chip talent.
I agree. Look, I'll tell you this. If Josh Sweat can put up 8 sacks and Walter Nolan can put up 6 sacks,
give it a 10.
Yeah, 10 is a lot from the interior.
Listen, if he can get 10, hey, I'll
come on.
Start making the gold jacket, dude.
100%.
10 crowd interior guy.
But if they can combine for 15 to 20 sacks together, that changes a lot. Now, I'm not doubting that they can do that, but I do need to see it. I need to see week 1, week 2, week 3, and then I reserve the ability to change how I feel about this defense. Mm-hmm. It's just I've got to see it first. So
for sure, no, 100%, 100%. Especially with so much in limbo. So much in limbo with Garrett Williams and Will Johnson. Because Ben was right last Tuesday, when he was listening, that Will Johnson. We haven't seen a CB1 like a true performance out of Will Johnson here, just kind of crowning him. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. I'm telling you what. The addition of Andrew Wingard over the top is going to be very helpful, at least for training wheels early on. He's played many years in this league. He and Budda Baker are going to be able to do their thing and be able to be training wheels. And Jack Gibbons in the middle is going to help Mac Wilson. They've got veteran presence where they need it. They just need to push up front. That's the matter.
We'll see what happens. Cardinals got joint practice beginning tomorrow against the Green Bay Packers. And thankfully, we have a guy here who's played in a couple of joint practices. I know what you're thinking. It's not Alex Clancy. It's Jamil Douglas. We'll talk about that next.
Jaguars.
Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Indeed. When workplace chaos hits and you need the right hire, Indeed Sponsored Jobs helps you connect employers with candidates who match specific needs like skills, certifications, and locations. So less time gets spent searching, more time gets spent finding the right candidate. People are finding quality hires on Indeed right now. And the minute I've been talking to you, companies like yours have made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. Usually, the biggest difference isn't someone doing more work. It's having somebody who knows exactly what needs to happen and helps everything run just a little bit smoother. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates to check all your boxes. Less stress, less time, more results. We need the right person to cut through the chaos. This is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now. Support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire. This is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. So the Arizona Cardinals are heading to Green Bay in a joint practice against old foe Jonathan Gannon. A subplot in all this, Mike LaFleur, Matt LaFleur. Okay, how cool?
You know they're brothers. Do you know
how
that?
cool would it be? How cool would it be?
Well, they're siblings. They're siblings. They're not brothers, but yeah.
What are you talking
Why am I
about?
even on this?
Oh my word, Jamil. Are we doing this on a Tuesday? Jeez, man. Too much allergy meds for that guy. Too much meds, and Ben doesn't get it. Let's just move on. Let's just go.
He doesn't.
I don't get it. No.
They're siblings. They're siblings. All right.
Yeah, they're siblings. So stupid. Okay. It's all right. It's all right, Ben. We don't rack it. So
hurt yourself, Ben.
So keep going, Ben. Sorry.
Anyways, I was going to say before we dive deep into like what we should watch for, actually, I guess we can just dive into that and just start with Jamil, who is still laughing hysterically.
It's like he's at Chuck E. Cheese eating the pizza for the first time. Looking at Chuck E. Cheese. What are we doing?
Because you guys, Clancy's face was just like, no.
I'm like, are we doing that? Are we doing this?
Oh man! All right, I'm back.
That's funny.
I still don't get it at all.
It's okay.
I know you won't, and you won't.
Give me the cliff notes of it. It's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Jamil.
Yeah.
What the hell happens at at joint practices? What should we be looking for? What's real? What's not? Just take that, dive into it, take a peek behind the curtain. Someone that's been in those and they play in them.
Yeah. So joint practices, and I've told you guys this, from a standpoint of performance, it's essentially a game.
Yeah.
And that's why you typically do not see the starters play in the actual preseason game that follows the week of the practices. If you think about it in terms of, what it looks like. So you'll have the Arizona Cardinals first string offense on a field separate with the Green Bay Packers first string defense. And then you'll have the twos on a separate field with the twos from the Packers. And so you really split it up, and that is why it can feel like so much more of an output than a regular practice, because you're getting a lot more reps. And so these guys are where you would sub in after, 4 plays, the first string offense will come out and the twos will go in. There is none of that. It's essentially you're playing a glorified scrimmage. So really, from an evaluation standpoint, guys, at this point in the preseason, they've kind of got their roster locked in, besides maybe the bottom 2 or 3 guys that, are vying for or fighting for a spot. And so from a scouting perspective or from a coaching staff perspective, you're really, and this one's heightened because Jonathan Gannon is on the defensive side of the ball. I can guarantee you right now, Mike LaFleur is wanting the offense to go out there, and whether it's move the rock through the run game, because that is absolutely demoralizing for a defense, or it's scheme guys open in the pass game, there is going to be an extra, this one's going to be, the tension will be there. It's always like that when you have coaches from your old staff that go to a new spot, and then you have the joint practices, not to mention your sibling is on the other side as the head coach as well. Like this is going to be great for the Cardinals. I think we view the Packers as, I don't view them as contenders every year, but I view them as, one of the better teams. They're a top 10 team in the league in terms of how they go about their business and playing every, week
maybe
in
higher.
and week out. Yeah, maybe higher. I don't want to put that on them, but I believe they're top 10, top half of the league. And so this is going to be great for the Cardinals from a competition standpoint. You are going to get the best of the best. And if I'm the Arizona Cardinals, you have the ability to go in here. People are still going to have access to these practices. You have the ability to go in here and prove that, you're capable of hanging with the Green Bay Packers. Not to say you're the little brother or anything like that, but it is what it is. We know the attention around the Arizona Cardinals. They've got the ability to go up to Green Bay and play these guys for 2 days. And so I think it'll be super competitive, and I think it'll be great for the Cardinals.
Is there a certain facet of whatever, maybe it's offense, maybe it's defense, maybe it's a specific position, or maybe it's coaching that benefits the most from having a joint practice?
Well,
is
I'm
it
biased.
The offensive line? Is it okay?
I'm biased. I think it's up front. I think it's the offensive lines and defensive lines, because you're getting the best up front in terms of your one offensive line versus their one defensive line, and vice versa. Like the ability, like these guys are rushing as if it's a game, and you're hitting as if it's a game. On the back end, guys aren't, you're not supposed to be hitting. It's called thud mode, and that's what they call it. You tag off or you thud them up and you let them keep running. And so that's still kind of idled down from what a game is. But up front, it's fair game. They're trying to get to your quarterback. You're trying to get to their quarterback. Obviously, you can't hit the quarterback. You're not supposed to, but guys are still rushing at the full capability. So I would say up front, and I think if you're the Cardinals and you're going into this, you're really trying to establish, we hear about, obviously they don't have Micah Parsons, But we hear about this Green Bay Packers, D-line and how they're able to fly around and things like that. The Cardinals have a great opportunity to go in there, protect Jacoby Brissett, run the ball. I wish Jeremiah Love was going to be up for these practices. I would love to see him go against a first-string defense. Like, that would be great. But they have a good opportunity ahead of them, and they've got to make the most of it.
Yeah. I mean, for me, and that's great. I think the beautiful part about knowing that where the defense is at is you can hone in on exactly what the differentiator is going to be when you go up against live people, like Jamil was talking about. With the ones like, for me, it's Marv, though. Like, that's what I'm looking at.
Yep.
I'm looking at Marv. The pass rush isn't going to be a strength, okay? You know what the offensive line is going to be, pretty much, right? It's going to be the left three. We'll see what happens with Isaiah Adams, Elijah Wilkinson. We'll get John Gainstone in there, whatever it is. You know what Jacoby Brissett is. He threw that absolute dime to Marvin Harrison Jr. over the shoulder. Check out the Cardinals Twitter page. It was beautiful. Caught it, 2 feet in, scored a touchdown. It was great.
I don't think we got to worry about Marv anymore, man. I think
I haven't. No, but going into a live practice, who do you think's going to go into a brick wall? Marvin Harrison Jr. or Michael Wilson? Like, it's going to be Michael Wilson. So you got to figure out if you can throw some crossing routes to Marv.
I'm sorry. What do you mean by a brick wall? I guess
you're not worried about Michael Wilson's motor. You're not worried about Michael Wilson going over the middle. You're not worried about Michael Wilson catching a ball and holding on to it. You're worried about Marv going up against the safety, him getting over the top, catching a ball, maybe getting hit as he comes down, and the ball getting jarred loose. Like, that doesn't happen with Michael Wilson. So you want to see Marv with less finesse and more teeth, and this is the first time you're actually really going to see it. So it's Marv for me, number one. And then number two, it's you hope that we're not seeing go routes by Christian Watson just running past the DBs for the Cardinals. The beautiful part about the Packers, the offense is they've got Jaden Reed, who couldn't be more different than Christian Watson. You've got Tucker Kraft. You've got a handful of running backs. You've got a good offensive line. Like, they're the perfect mix of skill position players to be able to kind of see what you got during a joint practice. But for me, it's Marv. Marv's number one.
I would have went with Marv as well. Sorry, Jamil, continue.
No. Well, I didn't get a chance. You asked me to go into joint practice. You didn't tell me to pick who was gonna be.
Well, no, I didn't ask Clancy either. Clancy just talk. Listen. I am the point guard of the show. I'm just gonna pass it to you now.
No, go ahead. Who you said Marv as well?
I would have said Marv, but one of the other things that I will continue to mention is the secondary, and more specifically the young corners, because I do think Will Johnson is going to be at minimum a very solid and physical cornerback in this league. But outside of him, Denzel Burke, we'll see, right? Starling Thomas, we'll see. I mean, Sean Murphy-Bunting is still out there. We'll see. And Clancy makes a really great point. Tucker Kraft, Jaden Reed, who at one point looked like he was going to be a really good wide receiver in the league, Christian Watson, and obviously their running backs that they have as well with Josh Jacobs and company. But Jordan Love is is a really good quarterback as well to help test these guys. And if we're getting reports out of camp that guys are running free open, it's going to be concerning, because the thing that I continue to mention is the preseason is, and it's why I've tempered down, of course, the expectations of Carson Beck, is you don't play a lot of different designed and exotic looks in the preseason, especially on the defensive side of the ball, because you don't want to show anything in this completely offensive-driven league. Got to save that stuff for the regular season. I'm assuming we'll see a little bit better version of Nick Rowless. And so it's kind of the defense as a whole, but really that secondary where guys are just running wide open. So if I'm not going Marv, definitely the secondary. It'd be nice to know that Christian Watson isn't running free. Jaden Reed isn't running bias. Tucker Kraft isn't just having his way. Their backup tight end is good too, whose name is who I forgot.
Luke Musgrave.
Luke Musgrave as well. He's good as well. So it's a good litmus test for the Cardinals, again, against an offensive line that's always good too. Always good.
Yeah, no, it's a great test. I think if you look at it on paper, the interesting part about this is, like, we're looking at, on paper, you would say, okay, the Green Bay Packers offense presents a threat to the Cardinals defense. But also when you look at it on paper and what we've seen, the Cardinals offense presents a threat to the Green Bay Packers defense. Yeah. And so realistically, we're looking at both of these defenses and what we can get out the defense. I think I think this is a great test for the Cardinals defense because even if you are outmatched, how scrappy can this defense get? I don't believe that you have to have the top 5 corners, the top 5 safety, the top 5 linebacker. If you're playing what the coach is calling and you're doing it at a high level, you're going to be in position to kind of get those, those tips, those overthrows, all of those things. And so looking at this is the perfect test because there is no shortage of talent that the Cardinals are going to face this year in terms of offenses, and the Packers are one of the better ones. And so if we can see them compete in a camp setting and it's some back and forth, obviously we know the Packers are going to get theirs. Jordan Love's going to put the ball in, tight windows. That's going to happen. But I just want to see the scrappiness show up. Like we always talk about the identity of what the Cardinals defense is going to be with, going against a top caliber offense. So I think it's going to be an interesting week for sure because both defenses are going to kind of have to adjust and figure out how to cover these offenses, which we don't say that much about the Cardinals, but we're saying it now.
Yeah, and I mean, I remember going into 2023, talking about the defense quickly, like, do you remember the first week of the season? I think it was the first 2 weeks because White had 2 unnecessary roughness calls. He ripped people's heads off twice. Yep. And there was another one. I don't know if it was Sean Murphy bunting or Jalen Thompson. Somebody else had one that was egregious where they were just going full restrictor plate off, balls to the wall kind of thing. That kind of waned last year where it's just like, because you could tell going into 2023 was a bad roster, but they were playing with much more intensity than any of the Cliff years. So you hope that comes back, yes. Now with the offense, it's so good that Jonathan Gannon knows every single idiosyncrasy of every single one of these offensive players. Because if the Cardinals can scheme the guys open from a guy who was literally the head coach of theirs last year, it's a really good barometer check for the offense. He knows all these guys. He knows everything about them. It doesn't matter what the offense is. He knows their tendencies. If they can scheme open and Marv can run roughshod and Michael Wilson and Trey McBride, it's going to be a really, really good sign for the offense.
I know we've kind of answered this a little bit already, but we haven't said his name. What are you looking for out of Mike LaFleur? Because I know obviously Clancy's kind of mentioned the offensive side, but like how, I guess I should even say this, how is this going to benefit Mike LaFleur?
Oh, take it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's multiple ways. The first is you can benefit from this. If I'm Mike LaFleur, I can get a morale boost from my locker room. You're going into somebody else's practice facility. How you go about, kind of gathering your dude. I mean, I get chills thinking about it. Like when I played in Tennessee, we had the New England Patriots come in for a joint practice. Mike Vrabel and Bill Belichick. Now, obviously this is different. Like they're not brothers, right? Like, but Mike Vrabel, siblings. They're not siblings. We know they're not brothers. We can see that. But Mike Vrabel had something to prove because he was, deemed as, even though he wasn't under the Bill Belichick tree, he had that because he played for him. And so it's just like, you can get a morale boost. You can really capture your locker room in a setting like this. The old coach that used to be here is now calling the defense. I am an offensive-minded head coach. My skill set is that I am supposed to be able to, figure these things out. And so they're literally playing chess. Jonathan Gannon and Mike LaFleur are going to play chess. Outside of that, like, again, you're going into somebody else's facility. You just have your guys. And so I just think that while it may not be like, oh yeah, like, we're not going to come out of this and be like, they're going to win 7 games. There's going to be a camaraderie that's built within this joint practice because of the little things that are in place that are going to create this tension that it's going to be super ultra competitive. And I feel like this is a turning point for the Cardinals where they can actually come out of this and we could we can be happy about the way that they competed if we see it on social media the right way, you know?
Yeah. So here's the thing. I know we got to go to extensions next. Here it is, Ben. This is Mike LaFleur's version of when Jonathan Gannon went to Philly in week 17 of 2023 and beat them in Philly. Okay.
Yep.
It quite literally matters the same. That game didn't matter. It mattered in where they were drafting, but Kyler Murray just came back. They also gave up 30 points or something to Philly, so the defense looked terrible, but they won that game on the road. This is not only the former head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, but it's his blood relative, Matt, which is another way to say brother, but it's not.
Sibling.
So it is. So anyways, that's what it is. Like, this is it. This is a huge thing for Mike LaFleur. Look at how much he chomped after they beat the Raiders. Like, he was hyped up. Like, he's a football guy, dude. Like, this is a guy that we haven't seen anything from him because they haven't won anything yet.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to see a different variant of Mike LaFleur when they start winning games, whether it's this year or next year.
Jamil, have you, and we will move on. I'm just going to ask this. You did this. Do they ever have like something just dumb where two coaches will go against each other? Because I would kill to see Mike LaFleur.
Who would
Matt
you
LaFleur
kill?
go against
Why
each
would
other.
you kill
Just as like a
somebody?
joke. No,
That
like,
doesn't seem like it'd be worth it.
Just as like something funny. Yeah, I know this is not a funny thing. Is it
Well, like a
intense
thumb
setting?
war?
But how cool would it be if those two just lined up against each other, just brother on brother? I just think it'd be cool. It'd be one of one because they're brothers.
It'd be pretty lame.
All right.
Oh, that'd be
All
funny.
right.
That'd be
Extension
funny.
talk next.
They're siblings.
Stop it. Not until
Oh,
Ben
brothers.
gets it. Not until Ben gets it.
He won't. I
I
don't understand.
I won't
how.
get it. You are honestly throwing me off every time you guys
What's your
say it because then I have
culture,
to
dude?
think about it for a second. I'm
What's
like,
your
what is it?
culture?
What are they even talking about? I'm assuming it's from a movie that I have not watched.
Well, it's a movie of life, Ben.
It's just having some culture, but whatever.
All right. Anyways, here we go.
I can leave if you guys want.
No. Let's
Here.
roll.
Don't get
Let's roll.
sensitive. Come on.
Don't get sensitive.
I just
We're good.
the Arizona
This is-
Cardinals gave Yoda Froeholdt his extension today. Two notable guys who still have yet to get an extension: Michael Wilson and Paris Johnson Jr. Should the Arizona Cardinals get this thing done now, Clancy, or should we just let it ride till the end of the season?
So the reason why we're doing this for like the 7th time this offseason is because it's
This is
important.
it.
Like every time, because we've got a couple weeks. You know, we're still 2 weeks from Sunday from week 1, but I still like the roster is starting to formulate. You know, Michael Wilson and Marv seem to be the 1-2 punch of wide receiver twos. Like, it seems like everything is moving in the right direction. The only thing that gives me pause is how much everybody got this up. Nobody was nobody's expecting Alec Pierce to get $120 million. Give me a break. Like, Zay Flowers, $100 million guaranteed. He's fine. He's good, but that's what the going rate is for wide receivers. Luckily, Michael Wilson was an afterthought for the first 2.5 years of his career, so maybe they can use that as leverage to not pay him that much. I'm paying him this offseason, and I'm waiting on Paris. You don't have to rush with Paris. He's going to get it. He's probably going to reset or be close to resetting the market. But I'm giving Michael Wilson the money. If you're going to extend him, just do it now. But is it a risk? Like, Jamil, is it worth the risk? Is it worth the risk of him going banana sandwich and getting 10 touchdowns and 1,000 yards receiving and being the de facto wide receiver 1, and you have to pay him an extra $10 million a year?
Right. Yeah. I mean, no. I would probably pay Michael Wilson now because he has the ability, especially within this offense, to have that type of year. And I would wait to pay Paris. And it's not a slight at Paris. It's just I think he's going to go out and perform regardless. You know, like, I don't know. I mean, I just feel like you should get ahead of it, because if he does go out there, have 12 touchdowns, now you're in a position where you may not even be able to keep this guy, you know? So lock him up.
And then
now.
you got Marv right around the corner that you haven't paid yet. What if he produces too?
Exactly. Then you got Marv as well. And so you pay him now. He's happy. He goes out, whether he performs to the level of a wide receiver 1, great. If he doesn't, great. We still know what type of player he is. And then you handle Paris in the offseason. And that's how I would approach it, at least.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys are both handling it from a perspective of if you don't pay Michael Wilson now, it could cost you more financially in the future. Whereas Paris Johnson Jr., if you don't pay him now, it doesn't really seem like it's going to cost you as much, as punitive as it would be for Michael Wilson. Because Michael Wilson, like, let's just say he could still take 3 years, $80 million or something right now. You're saying next offseason, he could be in the realm of 4 years, $130 million. Whereas Paris Johnson Jr., we're not really concerned. He's like $25 million a year now. Maybe next year he's $30 million a year. Is that kind of the perspective that you guys are kind of taking it from?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah. No, for sure. I think the wide receiver market is a lot crazy. More, unregulated as opposed to the offensive line market. And so guys are willing to pay, that $120, $140 million if he was to catch 7 touchdowns, and so I think you should just do it now. I think you are definitely sure what you have in him. Not to say you're unsure about Paris Johnson Jr., but I feel like if Marv is going to be a guy, you're going to want Michael Wilson opposite of him because Michael Wilson plays with a different mentality than Marv does. And again, I reserve the right to change that when we see what this offense looks like at full throttle. But having one receiver isn't enough anymore. And so, while you can let him go play this season and not pay him, you could potentially end up losing him the following year. And now you're back at square one with, Marv being the only receiver. Like, it's just not enough these days. Everyone has 2. And that's just kind of how you have to go about your business. I think they should pay him now.
Yeah.
So
you're going to go ahead.
Well, I was also going to say from the other perspective too, Jameel, what if Marv isn't a guy and Michael Wilson is like, you could then risk running the risk of not having really any great wide receivers. Maybe Marv, maybe he does ascend to the wide receiver 1 category. Maybe he doesn't ascend to the wide receiver 2 category. Maybe he's just a wide receiver 3 someday. I mean, that might not be the case, but you are also kind of giving yourself that protection that you have one guy locked in. Like, you got one guy that you can trust, that you can bank on, and you're kind of doing it to kind of get yourself a little bit of a cheaper option. I thought that was interesting, but Clancy, go for it.
I mean, I forgot what I was going to say, I think.
Love that.
Yeah, it's great. I'm just going to talk until it comes back. Okay, I'm just going to talk until it comes back. So what do you guys have for dinner? So, here's the thing. With Michael Wilson, 3 for $70, $50 million guaranteed. Somebody's going to pay him that next year. It doesn't matter. He's already done enough at this point. Even if he does 80% of what he did last year, and actually it really matters, people see the dog in him, he's going to get a contract. So the beauty of Monty Ossenford is it came back. See, I talked until it came back. He's going to do the 2+1, just like he did with James Conner twice, just like he did, with other guys where it's going to be 2 years, $70 million, $50 million guaranteed. They're going to signing bonus the hell out of it. It's going to be 2+1 with a player option. So he's not going to be tied to a guy for 5 years. So it's going to be off the books quickly. They have more money than King Midas to spend next year. And then all the apples, the full apple gets bit by the players who are currently on the roster first. And then they'll have plenty of money to go spend elsewhere after they pay Paris and Michael Wilson. But I think you got to pay him now. Just check the box. It's the Yoda Froeholdt of the wide receiver room. It's like, no, just make it easy. 3 for 75, 50 mil guaranteed, and move on.
I feel like it'd be easier for Monty too, because if they do wait until do Paris Johnson next year, then it's like you can just focus on that. You're not dealing with both of them, and I'm sure that
I don't think there's gonna be that big of a deal. Like you just said, it's not gonna be that big of a deal for Paris. He's not gonna get $40 million a year that he wants. He hasn't been a Pro Bowler once. Like he's not gonna get it. So there's gonna be the market if he balls out this year, and if he plays 17 games this year, like he hasn't the last 2 seasons, then we can have a conversation about this. But they're gonna have the money to spend. It's easier just to set and forget. They'll make it team friendly. Monty Ossenford isn't going to just dump money down the drain. He's going to make it competitive. The beauty of Paris is he's already gotten that contract of being number 6 overall. Michael Wilson hasn't. So you can kind of use that to your advantage of him being a ghost for 2.5 years and having 11 good games. That doesn't garner $25 million a year, regardless of the situation.
We appreciate you guys tuning in to the Cardinals Squad Show. Reminder, we will be here probably, I'm assuming it'll probably be same time as we were last week, where sometime around halftime, Clancy will do his 15-minute spiel. Then Jamil and I will be tagged in. We will jump in probably partway through that third quarter. We'll do the post-game show of the Locked On Cardinals Squad Show between the Packers and the Cardinals, probably recapping a lot of what we saw this week in joint practices. So appreciate you guys for tuning in. Hit that like, share, subscribe button. Follow us on all social media platforms. And we will see you guys on Friday later into the Cardinals-Packers preseason game.